the CEO goes away.
Takes a back seat.
And the mob boss comes out.
Mm-hmm. The Shan Man. No, I'm just kidding. No one calls him that.
What do you know about 2 certified bankers? PhantasmaCast.
Welcome back to PhantasmaCast, where we watch our favorite movies 2 at a time,
And you should too.
I'm Jake.
I'm Derek.
Derek, today we're gonna watch a Scorsese film.
Yes.
We've covered one other Scorsese film in the past.
After Hours.
I want to know, what are your favorite Scorsese films? Because this is a guy who, like, you look at his IMDb page under directing.
It just goes on.
Yeah.
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 And a lot of them are commercial projects.
Yeah.
But let's go like top 3.
Top 3? Okay.
Yeah. Just because there's so much, you know, we could be here all day with like a top 10, really. I would definitely put Goodfellas in there. Sorry, I've seen it a million times. I'll probably see it a million times more.
You got to rank it, though.
Oh, number 1.
Number 1?
I think it's just my favorite.
Okay.
There's like a comfort in how many times I've seen it, and just the hell yeah I get when he's like, ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. That's actually I think I told you that I eventually watched The People's Joker.
Yeah.
And it starts with, ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to be a Joker. And I was like, fuck yeah. Cool.
It's part of the cinema DNA at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think a lot of people would rank Goodfellas as their number 1 Scorsese.
Yeah. Overrated? No. Perfectly rated. And then I also adore The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm sorry. Not because I want to be anything like that guy at all. I think that's like kind of the weird value that people who don't really watch Scorsese movies assign to the movies, is like, oh, he just glorifies bad guys. And it's like, I think he like picks films that examine bad people, and he kind of likes deconstructing them, but people kind of forget the deconstructing part and just go, oh, he depicts them, therefore he glorifies them.
I think with Scorsese, like, maybe not all of his movies, but like, I think all of his movies have like the main kind of ingredient, the thing that kind of binds them all together. If you boil it down, there's something about like the pursuit of the American dream in all of them.
Right.
And ambition is a trait that's shared with a lot of his protagonists, and they just happen to engage in criminal enterprises.
Right, because they're getting like rich quick, or they're getting to the top through extra legal means.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And that is like a fascinating draw as a viewer. And then I think controversial pick is Shutter Island.
Okay.
I really fuck with Shutter Island.
I mean, I do too.
Mostly because we're federal marshals, you know? But I do love all the scenes with John Carroll Lynch in it, where he's like, boys, you're going to surrender your firearms. I just love the Boston accents, really. I think that's the main thing that keeps me coming back to Shutter Island.
I mean, Scorsese doesn't really fuck with horror, really.
No. So,
and I feel like I could consider Shutter Island a horror film.
yeah, so it was kind of an interesting little unexpected
Little experiment he's going on. Yeah. And you did it well.
I think so too. Have you ever seen like the old trailers for him for Shutter Island?
No, but it was
Terrible.
sold as heavily as a horror, if not a thriller.
Yeah,
you know.
But they were kind of like still in that
In a world.
yeah. It's from that era that they really don't do that anymore, of like the master of something, Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Brings you, you know, and
Right before every trailer was like, "Bwah!" like copied the Inception trailer, basically.
Yeah. So what are your top Scorseses? You don't have to restrict it to 3. I just did that. If you want to go further than that.
God, it's so hard. I will say, I think Casino is probably, in my opinion, the best Scorsese movie.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an enlightened viewpoint. I feel a little dumber for not having it in my top 3. So I applaud your intellect.
I was gonna say I feel like it's unfairly kind of eclipsed by Goodfellas.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And they essentially have a lot of the same ingredients, but like I think Casino just fucking moves, you know? It is a long movie, but it's an epic, you know?
Yeah.
A crime epic.
And it's not at the level of like mobsters, like street level that Goodfellas is.
Yeah.
This is like so removed from the like the mafioso types, because they're in Vegas and they explicitly state earlier in Casino that they can't be anywhere near there.
Right. And the main character is not a gangster. He's not a made man. No. So I don't know. And it has so many memorable characters, and I just think it is number 1 for me. Number 2 is like a fight between Gangs of New York and The Departed.
Oh yeah. Damn.
You forgot about
that's
those
okay.
ones.
My fight for number 3 is Shutter Island and The Departed.
Okay.
Yeah. Boston accents all the way.
Yeah. The Departed is such a fucking good movie. But then Gangs of New York is like he was like, all right, I'm known for making movies about gangsters. I'm going to turn back the clock.
Take it back a little bit.
Fantastic movies. And then number 3 probably is
Tough one.
I'm going to throw in, it's not necessarily my favorite, but it's the one I'm kind of really intrigued by.
Okay.
The Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh yeah. It is a banger. It's good.
Yeah.
It would make my top 10 for sure.
It's one of those ones that I think is part of his kind of lost decade of films. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I think he's comes from a very Catholic background and wants to explore even again like this kind of American dream thing of what if Jesus did accept the temptation of living a real human life rather than becoming a martyr.
Yeah, and like you said about Casino, it is an epic, and it surprisingly moves. It is not kind of a slow burn like here's how Jesus got his start. It is a very what if, like questioning of a sacred text, really.
You can't make a movie about like kind of like a taking one of the world's biggest religions and going, what if it went the other way in a conservative era such as the 80s,
Everyone knows that Jesus Christ died on the cross. But what this movie presupposes is what if he didn't? But speaking of like kind of landmark movies that kind of like upset or like establish like a new status quo of like what a gangster movie should be.
Yeah.
At the time, The Long Good Friday, one of our 2 movies today. That's my segue into The Long Good Friday.
See what you did there. The Long Good Friday is a movie that was first introduced to me in film school. I'd never heard of it before, and they specifically, I think, showed us the last scene where he's being driven away. And that was like part of like a screenwriting, class about like great endings,
It's funny to be in a screenwriting class because they don't say anything.
Right.
And maybe that was like the point of being like, don't over explain. Like, that ending, is like a master class, if you will, in letting like the camera capture everything that the character is going through. Like the camera's reading his mind, I think is how they said it in the making of doc, which everyone should watch, by the way. It's in the Criterion. There's a 54-minute making of documentary. Sublime, beginning to end. It's so good.
And we'll get to the ending But that was my first kind of like intro to it. And I was like,
Awesome.
oh, this movie looks kind of cool. And then I spent years being like, I got to find that movie. I got to find it eventually. And then eventually it came out on Criterion. And I was like, fuck yes, The Long Good Friday. It's a movie. I literally have met no other person who's seen it before.
I've only heard about it through you.
Yeah. Let me give you the synopsis for it. Harold Shand, played by Bob Hoskins, is a powerful London kingpin on the verge of going legitimate. He's lined up a massive Docklands real estate deal and brought in representatives from the New York Mafia to secure their financial backing for this big real estate project he's got going on.
Right.
So he needs everything to look smooth, professional, and entirely like it's under his control. Mm-hmm. But
don't tell me things go wrong.
Over the course of a single weekend, Harold's empire begins to inexplicably detonate.
Dang.
His his closest associates are targeted, bombs go off across the city, and his operations are systematically sabotaged. Desperate to maintain a facade of absolute authority for his American investors, Harold launches a brutal, sweeping interrogation of the London underworld to find out who is muscling in on his territory. What he doesn't realize is that he isn't fighting a rival gang for market share. A hidden, catastrophic mistake by his own crew has inadvertently dragged Harold into a war with a political entity far more organized, ideological, and deadly than any underworld syndicate he has ever crossed.
Right. Which sounds like a quintessential dudes fucking rock movie. Yeah. But I think there is something that is not told in that synopsis. And I'm trying to garner a little bit more of a female audience for this, really, because it is a great movie with a great performance by Helen Mirren.
Absolutely.
You're number one with a bullet.
Send me back, Lord, please. Give me a chance.
I wrote, you talk about Helen Mirren the way I hope I sound when I talk about Tilda Swinton. Yeah. They're just goddess. All right. Yeah.
She's got everything. She's gorgeous. She's got grace. My God, perfect woman.
Yeah.
Perfect woman, Helen Mirren.
Just standing ovation every time she walks into the room, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that? Of like how her performance really like kind of like makes this movie stand out even more than just like a typical like London gangster movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think how maybe the character was originally written was that she's just his girl, you know?
Like arm candy.
Yeah.
If we're being like ungenerous about it.
But I think Helen Mirren kind of subscribes to the idea that like behind every powerful man is an even more powerful woman. And she not only plays the arm candy, she not only kind of serves to schmooze their American visitors, you know.
Yeah.
She is his confidant. She is the closest person to him that he can trust and who he can kind of let his guard down to.
Right.
And she plays the role with an incredible strength that you really believe in until she kind of falls apart at a certain point.
Yeah. So she's not flawless.
Yeah.
But she is like intelligent. She's cunning. Mm-hmm. But like everyone, she's human, and she does crack under pressure too. One of like a very fascinating quote I found from Helen Mirren in this 40th anniversary interview from The Guardian. She says, originally, Victoria was very, very dull. I wanted to change Victoria very much to the irritation of the director. I was a squeaky wheel being very annoying. She brings class to Harold's operation, and he needs her. Part of his success is that he has her on his arm and in his office. I thought that was a really smart quote. And then to cap it all off, I wanted to make her more influential to the plot. That was my contribution, and the film was much better for it.
I think so.
Yeah, she nails it. She has ideas, and they're all correct.
Yeah.
And they all do make the movie better.
I think as an audience, there's this kind of like safety net that she gives you where as you're watching Harold kind of unravel because he can't figure out what's going on, you kind of are like in the back of your head, at least he has Helen Mirren.
Yeah,
You know?
because like in the plot, yes, things are going wrong over this weekend when he's trying to schmooze these investors, which is really like just the mafia.
Yeah, they're the American mob.
And
New York mob.
He's like, all right, gents, I'm going to go take care of business, you know, but then Helen Mirren is still trying to play the schmoozer while he's out. He's like, okay, I'll entertain them while you're out. And they're putting the screws on her too. They're not just like, all right, where is he? They're like, we know what's going on. Like, when are you going to tell us? So she has to be like, oh shit.
Just to make the calculated move to actually fess up and tell them what's going on.
Yeah. To try to maintain that relationship, because if she lies, then that's just going to sour it immediately. They're going to go. So like how it's a tightrope. It's a tightrope act, and she's walking it and she's doing amazing. And you think she's like, wow, she's handling it so well until, like you said, she cracks. And I think that scene is so good. Do you know what it started as before? That initial scene when, okay, so there's like this, the context of that scene is Jeff, Harold's like
his like right hand man.
Yeah. He takes Victoria home, and then in the elevator ride up, he kind of like lets it known that he's very
got
attractive.
eyes for her. Yeah.
And he's like, I want to lick every inch of you from top to bottom. And there was
bold move.
Bold move, Jeff. Bold move. And originally she was going to have a back and forth with him.
Yeah.
But she's like, no. I'm going to act it. I don't need to say it. And that scene is so charged with her.
Oh my God.
Not saying anything. And then
you're kind of like, oh, is she going to go for it?
Yeah.
Is she going to go for it? And she plays it with such restraint. And it like, it leaves you wanting, right?
It makes you go,
you know,
ding. And she says, like, the elevator goes off and she goes, Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck. Man, you want it to happen despite you're like, oh, this would be so bad.
Yeah.
But you do want it to happen.
The audience thinks they know what they want.
Yeah.
But what's more satisfying is kind of that delayed satisfaction.
You know, I'm going to say it. Book Talk would eat this up. You know, they would eat the shit out of that. But then the follow-up scene, the one that initially started this conversation, was Harold comes home. Victoria's like just kind of stewing in what she, you know, had to tell the mobsters, and you know, that interaction with Jeff.
Yeah.
And Harold's like, just like, I can't figure out what the hell's going on. And Victoria's like, listen, I got to tell you, I told them that you've been like running cover, basically. He's like, what the hell? He like kind of explodes, that just like yells at her. And then she's like, you're frightening me. I'm getting out of here. And she like stands up, but then he like grabs her arm and like shoves her down onto the couch. So he like, this is like the first time he's like been physical and aggressive towards her, towards his pride and joy.
A marked difference between how they have been
right
up until this point. Very kind of playful, loving relationship.
And there was like a sense of trust. So like this was like, whoa. And then she like, when she like lands on the couch, she like turns away from him because she's like about to break, and she doesn't want him to see that she's about to break. Yeah. But what I thought was like very interesting was Bob Hoskins is like immediately remorseful about it. He doesn't continue down that path. He goes, what the hell am I doing? And then he sits down, and then she breaks and she starts crying, and then he brings her in, and he's like, no. And he's like, we'll get through this. And it's very intimate. And it's like, it's so interesting to see like the top gangster and his wife, his confidant, his equal, and they're being like intimate in this way. And it's not like dirty or just like purely sexual, because originally that scene was supposed to be a sex scene. So I was like, whoa, would have ruined it. Yeah. I think it would have ruined it if it was the original scene and Helen Mirren proposed the way it is now. Yeah. Again, all the right ideas made the movie better.
Exactly.
For sure.
And I think that his initial response to her, which is violence and force, really shows you who his character is. And I think one of the things that, you know, kind of connects the two movies in general is that the protagonists are people who think they have control of the situation.
Right.
Harold, like his whole deal is that he's trying to make his criminal enterprise legitimate. He's trying to build this kind of clean corporate image for their endeavor.
He even calls like their outfit the corporation.
Yes.
Too.
Yes. So. Margaret Thatcher was elected as prime minister when this movie was being filmed.
Yeah. It kind of like predicted the way things were going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's trying to like kind of clean up his image, but as soon as this kind of threatening force happens, his people are getting murdered, bombs are going off, car bombs are going off, his pubs are getting blown up. They find a bomb in his casino. The CEO goes away,
Takes a back seat.
and the mob boss comes out.
Mm-hmm. The Shan Man. No, I'm just kidding. No one calls him that. H takes over, right? Harold the businessman goes away. H and razors. We haven't talked about his right-hand man.
Rises.
His real right-hand man. That's like, Jeff is like his protege of like the legitimate side.
Yeah.
His hopeful legitimate side.
Consigliere.
Yeah. The man who meets him at the airport.
Yeah.
When he comes in, because he's been away at the start of the movie. But then...
Rises.
Oh, Jeff.
No. But then rises.
Oh, raises. You just highlighted my like initial thing with this movie. I was like, damn, I love it, but like, they're speaking the King's English, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Raises.
Let me put it a way you might understand. Razors.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. But yeah, we eventually learned that this force, these explosions, like the unseen factor that's like upsetting this deal and his grip on power is coming from the IRA.
The Irish Republican Army.
Mm-hmm. Which is, as you said before we started recording, was like a more ideological force.
Yeah. So my whole point is that as soon as a problem comes up, in a very minute scale, his fight with Helen Mirren, or at a macro scale, his empire is being attacked, right? Mm-hmm. Force and violence and physicality, that is his response to it. Because there's this really great scene when he goes to this neighborhood to kind of get some information off of this informant. Yeah. And after they're done kind of torturing him, he walks out to his car, and there are these kids standing outside the car, and they're like, "We watched your car for you, mister." You know? And basically they're like, "Pay us for not fucking up your car while you were in there," you know? And he's just kind of tickled by this because he can see himself in it. And that gives you a lot of insight in his character. He was that little kid at one point. Yeah. You know?
And he admires them. He's like, that's the future.
Yes. And so it tells you, you know, he got where he is by being a hustler, by being a gangster, by hurting people. He thinks that that's going to help him solve this problem that he's currently experiencing.
It's worked for the last decade.
Yeah.
Like I understand why he thinks it would work, because it's traditionally worked for him. So then it leads him to stuff like that. Another like really like wonderfully visual scene of when he rounds up, like, I think it's his own guys, right? To like hang them upside down in the meat locker.
Well, so the way I'm kind of reading like the where the corporation is they're the biggest shop in town, you know, and no one really, they call it the 10 years of peace because no one's really been big enough to fuck with them.
His play is, I'm providing peace.
Right.
Now tribute to me.
Stability.
Yeah.
So yeah, he sends out his boys to go find all of these like basically like informers that are out there. Just other elements of the criminal underworld, to see if anyone fucking knows anything. 'Cause we're like well into maybe like halfway through the movie, a little bit more, and he still has no clue who is making a move on him. And he sends his boys out. They collect all these guys and they hang them upside down on meat hooks in an abattoir.
Yeah, and there's this great shot of like the camera being one of the guys that's on the meat hook, and it's upside down, and we're getting moved along the line in the meat hook factory. I don't know what is it called?
The abattoir.
Abattoir. Thank you. Raises.
At the abattoir. What's great about that scene is he walks out of it going like, beat the shit out of these guys till someone talks. But then when he walks out of the room, the like police chief who is on his payroll comes in and he's looking terrified. And he's like, you have no idea what you're dealing with.
Yeah, he's like, I've got the scoop, but you're not gonna like it. Yeah.
He's like, we analyzed the bomb. It is an IRA bomb. This has gone way over your head. You can't handle this. The fucking British Army can't even contain these people. What are you going to do about it, basically? Mm-hmm. But he's like, we'll pay him off or we'll kill them all. One of the two is going to work. And that's exactly what he tries to do. It gets revealed when he's pressing Jeff. Rises. Tells him he saw a woman arguing with Jeff.
Yeah, a woman in mourning.
And he's like, go figure out what that is. She had just gotten back from her husband's funeral, and he's like, how'd this guy die? So he goes and he talks to her, and she says he was on a job with a job in Belfast, which is in Ireland, with Colin. So he starts kind of putting pieces together. He's like, what the fuck was Colin doing in
Belfast?
In Belfast.
Yeah. I love the emphasis on that.
So he presses Jeff, and Jeff is like, oh, fuck. Well,
shit, what I didn't tell you this.
What I didn't mention was basically all the workers in his construction yards are controlled by the IRA. So they have to pay the IRA off or else they won't get their shit built. Mm-hmm. They went to go do a deal, but I think the military had like killed, like it was like the top 3 people in the IRA.
Right. And I think there's
that's
like
that scene in the beginning.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of like intrigue, and like Colin's fault is that he was skimming off the top.
He was skimming off the top.
So.
Yeah. So skimming off the top, their top guys get killed. The IRA has one direction they're pointing their fingers. Mm-hmm. Harold Shand. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're bombing all of his shit.
Yeah. And
I love that scene because Harold is so incredulous, when Jeff makes this
on the boat, right? When he
and he just like, he's seeing like red. He can't fathom how monumentally Jeff fucked this up for him, that he stabs him with a bottle in the neck and watches him bleed out to death.
Yeah, which the making of doc says that actually wasn't intentional. Like it's supposed to be played as like he wanted to like rough him up, right? Because he's obviously physical when his temper's blowing up. Yeah. But the stabbing of the neck was accidental. So like when that happens and like he goes to embrace him afterwards while he's bleeding out and like gasping his last breaths, he's very like paternal in that moment of what have I done?
Which is kind of like how he was with, is it Julia? Victoria. That's kind of how he was with Victoria. It's that initial uncontrollable violence followed by a tenderness, like a guilt of like, I can't believe I did this,
Mm-hmm. And initially, so the actor for Jeff, Derek Thompson, he says that scene used to be much weirder. That it was initially with like a saber that was on the wall.
It was originally supposed to end as a sex scene.
Yeah, it was originally a love scene. Oh, I'm gonna beat your ass, Jeff.
But thankfully, the actor who plays Jeff pushed back against the director.
He's like, I don't think that's what Jeff would want. I'm gonna speak for Jeff. He wouldn't want that. Just no offense. Colin was his best friend, by the way. we haven't mentioned that Colin was openly gay.
Yeah.
And so it was originally a scene where Harold would grab like a saber off the wall, and he cut his head off basically.
Oh,
in
man.
a fight. And I'm like, that's too much. and Derek Thompson says, I don't know whether it was budget considerations or good taste, but they cut it. But yeah, John Mackenzie, the director, was like, let's use the bottle. It's more interesting to just use something at hand, something more incidental.
Yeah.
To really sell like the outburst, like blind
accidental
rage.
nature of it. Yeah.
The sword feels too theatrical.
Yeah.
Really.
It looks
very
like
over the top.
It looks like you're looking around for something and then you decide.
Let me kill him.
Yes.
Yes.
This will be metal as fuck, actually.
If I can't fuck him.
Stab him some other way.
Just to maybe like wrap things up a little bit. The end scene. Because after we learn like the IRA is behind it, Harold does get somewhat of a vengeance on the IRA by like entrapping them into like a money handoff, basically. And then he gets to kill the people who facilitate the handoff and the other guy who was working with Jeff.
Politician.
Yeah. The land councilman. Yeah, that guy. So you're kind of like, H got him.
Yeah.
In the end, his brute force did win.
Yeah.
And then we have like the real ending of the movie is where he visits the mob boss Charlie and his right hand man Tony, and he visits them in their hotel. He's like, "Great work, gents! Like the Good Friday's over, and like we can make a deal." And he's like, "Oh no, we're leaving.
Yeah, we're fucking out of here.
We're fucking Audi 5000, bro." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we tend to like leave when bombs go off and stuff."
And he ends that scene by basically calling them a bunch of fucking pussies. I'm going to work with the Germans. They're a real outfit.
Yeah, he's like, "Shut up, you paralyzed streak of paralyzed piss."
Such a great.
He's like, "England has contributed more to the world than an hot dog."
Yeah.
So it's a very like comical, like I think partially improvised like monologue from Bob Hoskins that like kind of solidifies he was the only guy that could play Harold like this. And you're just like, okay, yeah, you tell him what for. But then we end because he goes back outside, gets in the car where he left Helen Mirren, Victoria. He gets in the car, boom, it takes off. And we notice that Victoria's not there. And he even goes, "Hey, where's Victoria?"
And he looks out the window and they're passing a car. Mm-hmm. And inside the car, I think Razors is keeled over dead.
Very briefly.
And Victoria is like screaming for him.
Yeah, and she's being held back.
And he looks back to the front seat, and wouldn't you fucking know it, Pierce Brosnan pops up.
And he, yes, we didn't cover that he did kill Colin in the beginning of this movie. So this is a return for Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, which he was the hitman for Colin.
Right.
So your natural supposition is
the IRA.
They're gonna fucking kill him. Mm-hmm. What we alluded to at the beginning of this was it's a mostly uninterrupted. It kind of cuts back and forth between Bob Hoskins and Pierce Brosnan, just kind of like looking at him, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's mostly uninterrupted of him kind of realizing what deep shits he's in.
Yeah. And
I did read the essay that came with the Criterion, and I love the direction that he was given.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing bits of it, but what was it? What was it again?
He was asked to basically replay the events of the film in his head as he was being driven to his death.
Yeah. You could totally see it.
Yeah,
totally see it.
You can see the ups and downs and the regret.
And like just like the way his like nostrils are flaring and his jaw.
He looks like a fucking bulldog, dude.
He's like, I'm fine. Okay, but they've been winning the whole time. They've got Victoria. maybe if I just, nope.
Yeah. There's no way.
Right.
There's no way out. He's played all his cards.
So that's the way it is. And then there was like a little bit of like admiration
Uh-huh.
he had. Kind of like what you said about like the kids.
Uh-huh.
He's like, oh, I've been bested. I got to hand it to you a little bit, you know? If this is going to be my final moment, you did it. You bested H.
Yeah.
You know?
In a film where he's responded to every threat with, bombastic rage, it's acceptance.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
He has nothing else to say.
Yeah. It was a fantastic ending. Just the first time watching it, I was like, damn, that is a perfect ending. And that is something that John Mackenzie said like he knew from like first accepting the job is there was a lot of like revisions to the script over time, specifically a lot of Victoria's stuff. But like that was the thing. He's like, I know how to end this.
It's perfect.
And that's why he was the right guy for the job.
So that's The Long Good Friday. Fantastic, kind of like mob gangster movie wrapped up in a political thriller kind of thing. It's great. So moving on to Casino.
A movie that took me way too long to finally see. I think I've had this Blu-ray for maybe a decade.
I think another thing that binds this double feature together is they're both movies I've been trying to get you to watch forever.
This is a certified Jake episode.
So what is Casino about? In 1970s Las Vegas, the Chicago mob has the perfect setup. They send Sam Ace Rothstein, played by Robert De Niro, a meticulous gambling genius, to run the Tangiers Casino, and send his childhood friend Nicky Santoro, Joe Pesci, to act as the muscle and protect the cash. The bosses back home just want their passive income without any drama. The most mafia thing ever. They just want a fucking silent operation where they can skim a little off the top of the casino.
You paying respects or not? Yeah.
But there's another but. The operation starts to fracture from the inside. Sam falls for Ginger, played by Sharon Stone, a high-stakes hustler who can't break away from her past. Nicky's brutal street shakedowns begin drawing massive FBI attention, and when the perfectionist Sam makes a petty enemy by firing a well-connected casino employee, it triggers a political domino effect that threatens their entire gaming license.
Yeah.
As egos clash and the heat turns up, a multi-million-dollar paradise spirals into a chaotic war of survival, where the mob eventually decides that the only way to fix the problem is to clean house.
Ooh. I like that. That was a good one. I want to start with why it took me so long to watch these. One is I don't think I can change this about me. I just kind of have like a cellular level dislike of casino culture broadly. I don't like being in them. I feel gross. I have never really liked being in one. I don't get it. I don't understand the pull. It's never roped me in.
Have you ever been to Las Vegas?
Yes.
Fuck, it sucks.
Yeah. It's an ashtray. It sucks. It's not good.
I remember in my head the first time I went, I've got this fucking movie in my head, right?
Yeah.
Not realizing
I'm going to get me a good suit.
Not realizing that's the glory days of Vegas. And then you get there and the streets are just covered in these fucking cards for like strip clubs and shit.
Like, what the shit is this?
Yeah.
What the shit is
It's just a fake cesspool of bullshit.
It's a money pit for real. And okay, the petty thing that took me a while to watch this movie is I cannot fucking stand this Blu-ray. This
cover?
No. The thing itself. It's a Universal Blu-ray, and I don't know how many people have interfaced with Universal Blu-rays. They fucking suck. If you leave them paused from this era, I guess, I don't know if they've fixed it since then.
Does the logo?
Yes. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about it?
And then you try to click out of it, and it takes like a minute to fucking get out of it.
You can get out of it?
Yeah.
I feel like this is like you're trapped. I could not get out of it, and I'm losing my mind because it's a 3-hour movie. So I'm going to pause it at some point to go get a snack, go to the bathroom, pet the cats, something. I will be doing something else at some point in this movie. If I'm not in the theater watching it, I'm going to pause it. And Universal's like, you still watching this? After like a minute and a half. And I hate it. And I hate it because of that. And also, like, there's like barely any special features, or they're so weird. They're so of their time where it's like a weird, like, picture-in-picture little trivia thing. And I'm like,
you know what? You know what?
that.
Scorsese movie probably does have a lot of good special features.
The Departed.
Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's unfairly placed above Casino in all regards.
Yeah. I'm sure they've done a re-release since then, but do not get the just plain Jane like Blu-ray release of that.
If a boutique label picked up Casino, which one do you think it would be?
Arrow.
Really? I was thinking Kino Lorber.
Ooh.
You know, seems exactly the kind of movie they pick up.
They do have like a lot of like older like detective like gangster noir movies.
But Arrow's interesting.
Yeah, because Arrow did like an original a retransfer of the Long Good Friday.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did like a color correction pass because originally there was something wrong with like the skin tones in like the original.
Is this before
transfer.
or after the Criterion?
I think Criterion picked up the Arrow transfer, or maybe they did a very subtle pass. But Casino. Now that I have seen it, there is wisdom of it being your favorite. I understand that it is a beautiful epic of greed. It is an epic of greed. And I would say it's a 3 main character movie of Sam Ace Rothstein. We got Nikki, Joe Pesci, but I think Ginger really takes the cake. Sharon Stone is Ginger because she is the only one that doesn't really get a voiceover, so we don't get too much like interior narration. We don't get in her head like that, really. Yeah. But we do get a lot of her backstory and her baggage and what is really like bringing her down. And I think a lot of that is due to Ace. Actually, I don't know how do you feel about that? Do you agree with that take of mine?
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like even if she did have a monologue, it would be an unreliable narrator.
Yeah,
because when she gets with Ace, he kind of has this. He gives her a promise. Basically, he's like, "You'll never be beholden to me. You'll have your own money. You can leave whenever you want." Basically, because she kind of values her freedom. You know,
I'll set you up for life. Basically, is my promise.
Yeah. But I don't think she values freedom.
No. She even tells him outright when he's like, will you marry me? She's like, we've only known each other for a few months. I don't even know if I love you. I don't know if I can love you. She's so honest about that. And he's like, that doesn't matter. Love can come in time.
Yeah. He kind of fools himself into thinking he can get her there. But I really don't think that she values freedom all that much either, because she's so also beholden to this fucking Lester guy,
which is her Lester is her
pimp, basically, right?
Her biggest trauma. Really, she can't move past it. He damaged her so completely.
Lester, played by James Woods.
Yeah. A perfect scumbag.
Yes.
A perfect scumbag. Man, Lester. I wonder if this is where Lester the Molester came from. That's my musing on Lester Diamond, because he honestly did molest her. She was 14 when they got together. Mm-hmm. It's stated in the movie, like, when I first saw you at 14, I knew I had to have you or something. You're like, yeah, Lester, fuck, kill this guy.
And she is just a very damaged soul who has self-destructive tendencies. She's set up in this lavish lifestyle with Sam. Whether she loves him or not is immaterial. Like, she doesn't want for anything, but like, she is continually drawn to try and leave Sam for this fucking Lester guy, who really is just a parasite and wants whatever money she can take from Sam and give to him, Yeah.
And her hustler mentality, I think, is really like that agency, that huge part of her is robbed when she like gets tied down to Ace. Mm-hmm. is now that she doesn't want for anything, she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So she's not.
She's got nothing to
she's no
drive
one.
her.
She's no one anymore. So all she has is this fucking Lester hang up, which I understand that. Well, I actually don't understand. Actually, that is what's fascinating about it is I will never understand that as like a man or as someone who was not like in that situation of being groomed at 14.
Yeah.
You know, but it is an interesting examination of that type of person.
It's also just thrilling to watch because she goes places.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone takes that performance places that just like give you a tight butthole. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh my God, this woman.
Yeah. It's her. I wrote that her journey is incredibly tragic, but it is also layered. It is also complex. And I always feel sympathy for her despite the like lengths she goes to survive. Because I understand why she was doing that. So I'm never like, why are you doing this, Ginger? It is, Ginger, this is not how you're gonna go about it. You're almost like Nikki. It was just being like, I hear you, Ginger, but I don't know if this is how you want to go against Ace. You know? And like even like later on in the movie when she starts messing around with Nikki.
Yeah.
And she's like, just kill him. Just kill him already. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's my oldest friend in the world.
And he's like, I've known this man. I've known that Jew for 35 years. You think I'm just going to whack him for you? But I think this is a good segue into Sharon Stone. Amazing. Beautiful performance. Joe Pesci. Thoughts?
Joe, I think this is, of the movies he's done with Scorsese, I think this is his best performance.
Hard agree.
This is the movie, and that's probably why I think it's better than Goodfellas. It lets Joe Pesci fucking run wild.
I wrote that it must have been a really tough act for De Niro and Pesci following up Goodfellas because that became so iconic that it was kind of like they were like pigeonholed into being those characters, that they do something different. I think it's an overt difference, but if you were like maybe catching both of these movies on TV at the same time, you may not be able to pick up those subtle differences immediately, but like really steeping yourself in Casino, you can see these are totally different characters. And Nikki is just like, not like really like a senseless goon in the way he was as Tommy in Goodfellas, where, hey, go get your fucking shine box. The shine box guy that he ends up killing in Goodfellas is now.
Does he play his brother?
No, he plays his like right hand man.
Oh, okay.
Basically, when they're doing like I specifically really crack up when they are getting watched by the feds and they're like, yeah, and they brought a lip reader out. So then they had to like, hey, do you know when that money's coming in? Like, oh, who's that motherfucker? I don't know.
What's this guy here?
What's this guy's doing? Okay, yeah, no, I don't know. Great scene. I love their dynamic here. But yeah, Joe Pesci has so much to do in here, and it's amazing seeing his evolution from being like, just like a hothead muscle type in wherever like the mob headquarters was in Casino here. But then once like Ace gets his thing going, and we'll come back to Ace, I think, for a brief period. Once Ace gets his thing going over here, like Nikki is kind of like, I'm getting sick and tired of this mob shit out here. I want something different too. Like, why don't I move out here to Vegas? And he's like, I don't think you should do it. I don't think it's the right. I don't think you're. No, basically, it's him trying to say, Nikki, don't come out here. You're gonna ruin. You're gonna fuck up my thing. I know who you are. I know how you are, and I'm not saying don't change, but don't come out here. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna move out here. And he just consistently fucks it up over years.
Yeah. You've got these three main characters, right? Ginger, Sam, Nikki. They're all people with massive egos and massive ambitions, right?
Right.
And that's really what drives them all and really kind of puts them all on a collision course with each other.
It is their greatest strength and their Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I wrote that they're the earner, the hustler, and the thief.
Okay.
And I don't think they can commingle. I think their biggest mistake was trying to have some kind of like normal relationship in like this system that they've found themselves in, which is like capitalism, just uber capitalism, you know, where it's earning for the sake of earning. It's money for the sake of money, nothing else. Like no relationships are important except the one to the boss, the kick up. It's fascinating to watch it all boil over 3 hours.
And that's what really kind of puts them all in danger, right? Is the only reason Sam is in charge of the casino is so that he can bring in as much money as possible so that the bosses get paid back home.
Right.
The only reason Nikki is in Vegas is to make sure nobody fucks with Sam.
But that's not his directive. That's not his.
That's not what he necessarily wants. He wants to make his own money too.
Right.
And then Ginger is just a problem for both of them.
Right. She's like the unexpected variable.
Yeah.
Really.
So let's talk about Sam.
Yeah.
I think what's great about Sam and what really kind of draws a strong comparison between him and Harold Shand is that Sam is a perfectionist.
Right.
He takes his job very seriously. And for him, it's less about getting the bosses paid, and it's more about running the best casino in Vegas.
Yeah, the fact that he is like beholden to the mobsters is kind of incidental.
Secondary.
Yeah,
to him.
he's just very good at making money.
Yeah.
And I think very early on we get the sense from like Nikki. There's another interesting facet to this movie is that there's multiple voiceovers. It's not just Robert De Niro's voiceover, but you'd think it was because he's like the central character.
Yeah.
There's voiceover from Nikki as well, and there's even like a way they play with that convention later in the movie is Robert De Niro is narrating a scene of Nikki, and like his voiceover just kind of fades away into the background like that. And I thought I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is that? And then there's an even more fascinating use of voiceover later when Nikki's getting his comeuppance, when he's out in the cornfield with his brother. He's about to get whacked, and he has a voiceover, and he's like, yeah, I met these guys out in the sticks, and I don't know what they were. He gets hit with a bat, and his voiceover stops.
Yeah.
And then I think it just makes that scene much more brutal. God damn, that scene is brutal.
Such a brutal scene. It's the like prosthetic they get to be Nikki after he's been fucking beat near to death.
Gasping.
It looks so obviously fake, but also real.
Yeah.
And just like, you're like, that's probably what a man who looks like he was beat almost to death by a bat kind of looks like. Mm-hmm. And when they throw the dirt over his face and he just kind of like weakly reacts to that, there's something visceral about that just feels so like, I shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah. But that's that. But back to Sam and like his propensity to just earn and his perfectionist. And I think you get that like physically he wears that perfectionism in like his suits.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think he wears the same suit twice.
He is a styled man.
He does have a great sense of style. You will say that. And that's like as much of his personality that he expresses, really.
Doesn't he smoke cigarettes in like a cigarette holder too? Yeah.
Like he's like Cruella de Vil or something, you know? But he doesn't take any joy in it. I think the reason I brought up the voiceover earlier was Nikki says, Ace was like good at making money. He knew how to make it in ways that like no one else knew how. He knew things you shouldn't know. He knew things like the guys playing the games didn't know that they knew kind of thing. But I don't think he ever had any fun with it. That was his problem. You know, that's Nikki's view of Ace. And that's correct because I don't think De Niro has any true joy throughout this movie. I think he tries to trick himself, like the way he's like, oh, I know you don't love me, but love can come in time. It's trust. He's very calculated in his decisions.
I think that's his ultimate problem. It's the main downfall of all these characters is hubris.
Yeah.
He thinks that when you boil it down, he thinks that he can control everything. And that's his real drive, you know? And I think that's really illustrated in the blueberry muffin scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's having this like very serious meeting with Kevin Pollak.
Yeah.
And
who's supposed to be running the casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just preoccupied. He's just noticing that like his muffin has less blueberries in it than Kevin Pollak's muffin.
It just breaks it up. What the fuck is this?
It's like, look at your muffin. It's overflowing with blueberries. So he goes to the fucking kitchen and like berates the chef. And he's like, from now on, I want equal amount of blueberries in every muffin. And the chef's just like, you know how long that's going to take?
I don't fucking care. Make it happen.
Yeah. Like, and it's just like he thinks that he can control everything, even down to like the chance that it takes to get an equal amount of muffins. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, blueberries in the muffin.
Or blueberries in the muffins.
Which then leads to the Joe Bob Briggs thing.
Yes.
Because Joe Bob Briggs has a cameo in this.
He's on the floor, and Joe Bob Briggs plays this. I think he's a pit boss, and a hustler has like maybe rigged up some slot machines.
They got like 3 jackpots in the span of like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
he's like, that's mathematically impossible. So if you didn't notice that, you're incompetent. So you're fucking out of here.
You're either like too stupid to know, or you're in on the take.
Either way, you're gone.
But
So he fires him, but it turns out that guy, his cousin, is the fucking gaming commissioner, or the county commissioner.
he's like, everyone's got a fucking cousin out here.
Yeah.
Everyone's cousin was someone.
And so there's another scene where the commissioner comes out and he's like, give him his job back or else.
Can't do that.
Yeah. He's so committed, again, to running the best casino. He simply cannot have that man back on his staff because he'll lose, small amount of money,
Yeah.
from these jackpots. Again, not something in the directive of what the bosses have given him. If he were following that directive, he would know how to play the politics and make this problem go away. But instead, he's sticking to his guns, and he's like, no, I'm not hiring the guy back.
Yeah.
Funny enough, at the beginning of that scene, talking about his suits, he's in his office, and his secretary's like, the guy's here to see you. And he's like, give me a minute, and then send him in. And he gets up, and he's
like,
in his
call
boxers.
Call me in 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's in his boxers. And he's got his pants hanging up. He doesn't sit at his desk because they'll wrinkle his fucking pants.
That's interesting.
You know?
That's a fascinating detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he won't hire the guy back. And then he's applying to get his gaming license.
Yeah. I love that running joke too, of just changing his job title.
Yeah.
To get the application sent to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, just to give him a reason to be on the premises every day. County commissioner's been doing some politicking behind the scenes. He gets denied. And then after that happens, he makes a very public spectacle of like fighting the injustice of it.
Again, trying to like draw this line in the sand that line has already been drawn by your betters.
Yeah.
Like it is not for you to decide. And he's like, were you, or like, was I or was I not at the dinner with you? And he's like, you're in on it. He's like calling everyone crooked and stuff. And it's like,
dude,
not a good look, man.
No one gives a shit but you.
Yeah.
And then they give him he gets another title at the casino, and it's like head of PR or something.
Food and beverage director or something.
And he like starts like a public access television show where he basically is like talking is talking about how corrupt all the politicians are.
Yeah. He's like, thanks for coming on the show. Do you think the commissioner is corrupt? Do you think I can win him in a fist fight? Anyways, I'm going to juggle.
And then it cuts back to the mob bosses, and they're just like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, is he juggling?
It's Sam's kind of obsession with controlling things and being right that puts him in a position that is in directly opposition to what the bosses back in Chicago want. And it's putting way too much attention on them. And then eventually enough attention is put on them to where the FBI find something.
Ooh, I know what it was. It was
That fucking guy.
Yeah. Artie Piscano. Artie Piscano is just running his fucking mouth. And we get a cameo from Martin Scorsese's mom as Piscano's mom at the counter. And he's like, can you believe this fucking guy? And she's like, hey, language. He's like, Mom, I'm sorry, Mom.
Because he's pissed off that he has to travel
And not get compensated.
For the travel. So he's writing down all of his expenses in his notebook. And then when the FBI finally raids him, they basically have all the receipts they need to like connect the mob bosses to Vegas.
Yeah. Reaching out to the female audience again. Artie Piscano basically has a burn book from Mean Girls. Yeah, and that's what takes him down.
That's what takes down the bosses. And guess what? The bosses ain't going down without the fucking guys who brought them down.
Yeah. Then we get a beautiful Scorsese montage of everyone getting whacked.
Yeah.
Again.
That guy in South America, he's just got to run into his...
Just shuffling around, breaking a window to open the door and gets shot in the gut inside and comes waddling back out. He's like, where the fuck are you going? That one was brutal too. He's like, where the fuck are you going? And then the gun goes on top of the guy's head.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just straight down.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Wild. Nikki, of course, gets fucking he and his brother. He's still breathing. He's still breathing.
Frankie, stop.
Yeah. And then Ace gets a car bomb. And that's what the movie opens with. Mm-hmm. A car bomb goes off, but he like survives it somehow.
He was like, it's pure luck, which, ties into the theme of Vegas and odds. But there was like a metal plate under the driver's seat that prevented him from immediately dying from the explosion. And that whole sequence was fascinating, of inside the car, of like the flames
kind of slow motion
up, coming out
the
of the air vents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was wild. And then he was able to like get out, but he's like on fire a little bit. And some guy's like, hey, what the fuck's going on? Car goes up. Yeah.
The end of the movie is kind of this like lamentation of like the end of classic Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the old hotels get knocked down and it basically becomes a theme park.
Yeah. He survives the explosions, but then Vegas
doesn't. Which is, it's kind of this, this like unspoken idea of like, it was the mob that really built Vegas, until the corporations came in.
Yeah. So they had to tear down and start anew, the legalized gambling, which is kind of the hellscape we find ourselves in now, ironically enough.
Oh my God.
Everything's a fucking casino.
Do you think the mob's involved with like Kalshi and shit?
There would, if casino was done now, there would be prediction markets for whether Nikki's having sex with the Jew's wife,
But there's this transition to the corporate ownership of Vegas, and Sam is relegated to what?
Just out of sight, out of mind. He's like in a little like back room. You just see like a bunch of screens of like horse races and stuff going on. But he's like older now. It's like an undetermined amount of time later. But he's got like these big old like Coke bottle old man glasses. And he's like looking over some sheets, or he like just made a call to place a bet. And then he takes off his glasses and just kind of stares at the camera. And we get like a voiceover being like, and well, that's about it. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And it's just like
last man standing.
Okay.
Ginger, Ginger makes off with her money.
Yeah.
There's the like extended sequence where Sam has just had a fucking enough of her and he throws her out, but then she's like, I want my money.
Yeah.
And she goes to the bank and pulls it all out. And
because she had the key.
Yeah. And she just, does he say how long she like lasted with the money? I think he has a line of like,
he does have a line about like how much they had left, like 30 grand or something like that. But she like ran off with maybe like a bunch of bikers or some stuff like that. But we find her at like this.
It's like a seedy hotel.
Yeah.
And she's clearly high, and then
stumbles
she just
out into the hallway,
keels over and dies.
He like had a second opinion autopsy done on her, which I think was odd. But I think that's his. I don't know whether that's like Ace's demented form of like caring about like getting a resolution for her, or like maybe he had.
It's got to be done his way.
Right. Yeah. It's not trusting what he's been told.
Yeah.
He has to go in and verify. Yeah. That's what it is. But quite a dour ending to Casino. But I mean, The Long Good Friday also had like a downer ending. Our guy's not going to make it.
No.
But there's something kind of like, that was like clever about The Long Good Friday that kind of leaves you on an up note.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But Casino is just kind of like, yeah, we're fucked. You know?
Yeah. You're just like, what was all this for anyways? You know?
It makes me, I feel like I'm a cog in a system that I can't control either, that I have no power in, even if I did have some power to earn or a hustler's ambition or the like wherewithal to be an outright thief and just take what I want. Mm-hmm. Didn't work out for any of them.
No.
And it rarely, the chance of something working out for you and becoming like successful is so infinitesimal that you're going to be one of those, like that crowd of like the old timers going into the new Vegas, you know. You're just going to be one of the crowd.
And you can't force it.
No.
You can't pretend you have control over the situation, because there's always the unforeseen, you know? And that's the thing that kind of gets these two main characters in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's The Long Good Friday and Casino, two awesome crime movies that Derek has now seen.
Woo! Yeah, I can attest. They are two certified bangers. Go check them out. Get a new Blu-ray, because I hope someone buys this out there and they respond, "You're absolutely right. This one sucks ass." But check out the Long Good Friday on the Criterion.
Looks great.
Excellent transfer there. But until then,
have a week.
We'll see you next time.